Have you ever built something, thought you were on the track, and then surprised the tool you are using is basically abandoned? That's me. I designed my social media app in Adobe XD, even shared the download link in my last video, and now Adobe announced it putting XD into maintenance mode. Means no new features, just bug fixes for the old users. So if you are new to design, I will save you some pain. Skip XD. Go for Figma. It's modern, web-based, and honestly what most designers are switching to anyway. Alright, let's get into the chaos of this week. You might have noticed the older clips that I was running Windows, but by the way I use Arch. Yeah, I recently switched from Ubuntu to Arch Linux. At first, honestly, not a huge difference, but here's the thing. Arch uses pacman as its package manager. If you are not a dev, think of a package manager like the App Store or Play Store, but for developers. You type a command and it installs all the tools and libraries you need. Sound busy, right? Well, sometimes it feels like a long RPG side quest. You want one library but it has 5 dependencies, and suddenly you are knee deep in configs. That's where AI comes in. It's a wrapper around pacman that automates the boring stuff, like having a personal assistant who fetches all the items from the store while you sit back. People say Arch is the best Linux distro, but honestly, I'm still figuring out why. I will update you once I survive more of this journey. So back to the project itself. I started this whole social media app in 2024 as my capstone project. The bootcamp I joined was teaching Java and React, so that's where I ended up. But I originally wanted to join the C# and Angular group. Life happens. I joined late and landed with Java. Now I wasn't new to development. I would already build projects in Python, Django and Flask, but those stories are for another videos. Java backend though, that was a different piece. Here's the deal. Java is a strong type language. That means you have to be very executive about what every single piece of data is, like saying this is an apple, not a fruit, this is an integer, not just a number. It makes things safer but also way slower to set up. And here's where people get confused. Java and TypeScript are not the same. Java came first in 90s and was built for large structured applications. JavaScript came later, designed to make websites interactive. The names are similar because marketing wanted JavaScript to sound familiar to Java devs, but they are as different as a car and a skateboard. Both can move you, but in very different ways. Now, TypeScript is like JavaScript's big brother. It forces you to write rules about what your variables are, which sounds annoying at first, but when you are working on big projects, those rules saves you tons of time. Let me give you a real-world example. Airbnb migrated its entire code base to TypeScript. Why? Because when your code base is massive, it's way too easy to forget what a variable does. Imagine you are chasing down a bug and you don't know if a variable is supposed to be a number, a string or an object. That hours wasted. TypeScript prevents that. In fact, strict typing and static analysis can cut debugging time by up to 30%. But here's my personal advice. If you are working on a small side project, just use JavaScript. It's faster and simpler. If you are building something big or you plan to scale, go with TypeScript. It feels slower at the first but saves you a ton of pain later. Speaking of productivity, back then I didn't have much content to show because I was just grinding. My secret weapon, Trello. Trello is like a digital whiteboard. You can drag and drop tasks, make a to-do, in progress and done list. My tutor gave me the best advice. Write down every feature you want, track your bugs separately, finish the core features first, then improve. In other words, make it exist before you make it perfect. Early prototypes are always spaghetti code. It doesn't matter if it runs good enough to test. Nobody cares about clean code if the app itself doesn't even work yet. So where am I now? Well, I have got about 75 plus users signed up, which sounds cool, right? But here's the catch. They are not really posting much. So right now my social media apps look like a silent media app. This week I decided to focus on something really tough, real-time communication. You know, chat features, live updates, stuff happening instantly without refreshes. The problem, the internet's resources for this were either too basic or didn't match my needs. So I built my own setup using Kafka and WebSockets. Here's a simple analogy. Think of Kafka like a mail sorting system. It takes all the messages, organizes them, and makes sure they go to the right place. WebSockets are like having a direct phone call instead of mailing letters back and forth. Together, they let my app push updates instantly. But here's the chaos. I had way too many Git branches in my repo. Merging them felt like cleaning up after a party. Cups everywhere, nothing labeled. Lesson learned: keep your repo clean, delete unused branches, and always keep your readme updated. In the end, I was stressing over what I thought was a backend bug. Turns out the real problem was in the front-end payload setup. Classic dev move. Blame the backend first. There were some tiny backend bugs too, but once I fixed both sides, the whole system finally worked. The big lesson: sometimes the bug isn't where you think it is. Step back, take a break, and recheck. A refreshed brain finds mistake, a tired one completely misses. And that's where I'm at this journey. I will keep sharing these stories with you, not just polish here's how it done tutorials, but the real messy process of building, because that's what development actually looks like. So if you're into following this kind of experimental chaos, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and stick around for next chapter, because trust me, there's plenty more madness coming.